as of recording time right here, Jonathan Taylor still a Colt, but he's been
given permission
to
seek a trade.
And then I liked the quote from Adam Schefter: "If the value's right." So of course I posed the question: What's
the value?
What's the value there?
Well, so it 100% hinges on what is Jonathan Taylor willing to do in terms of playing this year, right? So obviously Jonathan Taylor wants a new contract. Colts don't want to give him a new contract, or at least not yet, and that's where we have an impasse. So the value for Jonathan Taylor changes dramatically depending on whether or not that's the same deal everywhere else, right? Like if Jonathan Taylor is willing to play this year and then get franchise tagged, then actually you could trade a reasonable amount for that, right? That's 2 years of a potentially elite top tier running back at a cost control price. That has quite a good value to a lot of teams. If, however, Jonathan Taylor's like, no, I want a giant new contract, I want him top of the market money, he's worth nothing. Like nobody wants to pay that. The Colts don't want to pay that. That's why they're letting him seek a trade. So if that's the deal, I'm not saying yes to anything unless I get a new top of the market money. I don't see how a team is trading for him.
Reportedly, the Colts want something similar to what the 49ers got for Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
A lot of draft picks.
Good luck.
It was not a first rounder, but it was 2, 3, 4. It was a bunch of draft picks for Christian McCaffrey. We're coming off an offseason, not to beat a dead horse here, but we've said for years, we've discussed a lot for years as far as the running back value and decreased value, and they're the most replaceable position. They're very talented, but it doesn't always show up in production, that whole spiel. But this was the biggest tipping point in recent years. No matter how many times we had said that, or other people had said that, or even a few teams had shied away from either big running back contracts, second contracts, or high draft capital being used on running backs, it was never the entire league like this year. But this year we see a Josh Jacobs, we see Saquon Barkley, neither guy getting a big long-term contract as a free agent. And the only thing that we did see, maybe contrary to the running back value thing, was 2 running backs drafted in the top 12,
right?
Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. I think you can explain that away with Bijan being as special as it gets as a prospect over the last 8 to 10 years, and maybe just the draft lacking blue chip talent. So by the time you get to 12, it's Gibbs. I guess my point is there's never been a time in the league where almost everyone seems to be on the same page as far as running back value. Now, again, last year, middle of the season, Niners give up a ton for Christian McCaffrey. Is there another team that would be willing to do that? And is it a 2, 3, 4, or is it legitimately at this point for one more year of Jonathan Taylor? It's a 3, and giving up a 3. If you're a team like the Eagles, I know they've got a loaded backfield and they'll be fine. But if you're a team that's close or on the cusp or certainly competitive, is a 3 worth it for Taylor? As you said, you can get into franchise tag territory.
Yeah, I mean, the one kind of caveat is, look, I don't think many people saw the Christian McCaffrey trade coming. So there's always the potential that there's a team out there that reads it different from everybody else. But I don't see how a large amount of trade collateral coincides with the contract that has to be given up if Jonathan Taylor isn't willing to play the last year of his deal and then a potential franchise tag at the back end of that, which he probably isn't, because otherwise we wouldn't have a problem in Indianapolis in the first place. So I just can't see those two things coexisting, a team being willing to give up both the contract that he wants and the trade collateral that the Colts are going to want. I don't see how those two things exist at the same time.